Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another game review. I just finished playing Journey. This is a game that was originally a PS3 exclusive before going to the PS4 and eventually the PC via the Epic Games Store where I picked it up. It will also be dropping on Steam in just a few short weeks. This is a game that received a ton of critical praise, a lot of Game of the Year awards, and it's a very artsy game. I really haven't heard any negative reviews of this game, so my opinion is going to be a little bit polarizing. I didn't hate it, but I didn't really love it either. Maybe these kind of artsy games are just not really my forte. If you saw my Gree review that I did recently, another game that was very popular with the critics and with gamers in general, it just didn't do anything for me. I did not enjoy it. I gotta say I enjoyed this a little bit more, but it's not something that I loved. It's not something I would go back to. Journey is a very kind of abstract, kind of esoteric game. You're just dropped into this desert wasteland without any explanation of what you're supposed to be doing, but you happen to see this glowing mountain in the distance and you just instinctually decide to go for the mountain. At least that's what you're supposed to do. I hope you get the idea there, because I wasn't too sure in the beginning. I found the beginning of the game to be quite confusing, trying to understand the mechanics, and there aren't a lot of mechanics here. It's basically a walking simulator, a very short walking simulator. I finished the game in about an hour and 40 minutes. You're just walking, traveling kind of slowly through all these different ruins, just heading toward that mountain. You can walk, you can jump sometimes, I'll get to that in a minute, and you can kind of do this vocal chiming noise, and that's all you know when you drop into the game. So you start walking and you come across these pieces of fabric that float around in the air, and they kind of give you like a power charge that allows you to jump and briefly glide through the air. And as you progress, you kind of get more fabric, and your fabric that you're wearing gets longer, and you can jump higher and further distances. But you can only jump once, and then you have to go to this fabric and recharge your jumping ability, which just to me seemed like it really slowed down the pace of the game, and I did not enjoy that idea at all. The first time I tried to play the game, I actively disliked it. I was feeling angry. I was feeling impatient and downright angry. I was like, what am I playing? How do people love this game so much? This is terrible. I decided to go back to it again in a more patient mood, with more of an open mind and a determination to just get through it. And I was bored for a little bit. I was dissatisfied for a little bit. But eventually, after probably the first half hour, I lightened up a bit and I started to enjoy it a little bit more. What really did it for me though was running into another player. In this game, you can randomly come across other players who are playing the game online. So it can be a single player experience, it can be a multiplayer co-op experience. There's no matchmaking, no lobbies, anything like that. Is totally random. If somebody else happens to be playing, you can get paired up with somebody else. And it's pretty cool, and you don't know who you're playing with until the end of the game. It'll give you, in the end credits, it'll tell you the usernames of the people that you came across along your journey, but otherwise you have no idea who you're playing with, and you have no real way of communicating. There's no chat. Like I say, you can't see their username, nothing. You only have the most basic means of communication, which is just the way you're moving around in the world. And you can do that vocal chime thing just to kind of signal to each other whatever it may be. I actually rather enjoyed this aspect of the game though, and this is what really saved the game for me, because otherwise it was just a very boring, albeit pretty, a boring walking simulator going through this slow paced journey with some very light puzzle platformer mechanics. But once I teamed up with somebody and we kind of stuck together for, the better half of the game, I immediately felt a sense of camaraderie and like, I'm not in this alone, we're in this together and we're gonna make it till the end. This person ended up kind of like following me around and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm just guessing, I'm just going for it, but let's go together. And one of us would fall behind sometimes and then the other one would wait, and we just kind of follow each other around, and we were in it together, and it really had that cool, like, I felt a connection with this person who I knew nothing about, but we were playing together and we were a team, and it was a cool feeling. It was a cool experience. If I had not run into that person, if I had been playing this by myself, I probably would have been very miserable. But it was cool playing it with someone else, being in this situation with somebody else, and just it was really cool. The game itself, though, it's a bit slow paced for my liking. It's very artsy and kind of symbolic. You don't really know anything about this world that you're in, or the character that you're playing as, or why the heck you're going for this mountain. Not until the end of the game you can kind of piece things together, and I'm only guessing what it means. It's very abstract. Yeah, I don't know about these like artsy games. I think I'm with Kojima, who said many years ago that video games are not art, they're entertainment. They're like art museums. They're filled with many pieces of art, but at the end of the day their job is to entertain people. Whereas a piece of art sitting in a museum, if 100 people walk past it and one person is touched emotionally by that piece of art, it does its job. But video games are not like that. I'm sure I'm paraphrasing and butchering and maybe doing a disservice to Hideo Kojima's statement about that. It's been a long time since I read that article or that quote, but yeah, I think these artsy games are just not my cup of tea. However, I did enjoy the aspect of playing this game with somebody else and just finding those very primal, basic ways of communicating with each other without language, without anything other than, we both share a common goal to get to the end. So that was very cool. The game is very, very pretty. The visuals are very cool, very unique, and the whole experience is very unique. I've never played a game like this. I've never seen a game like this. The music is nice, the atmospheric sound effects and everything. I definitely could have taken more time to explore the areas and kind of find all the hidden kind of power-ups and whatever, but I just wanted to get to the end and just experience the game. A lot of people play through it multiple times and really get their money's worth. For me, one time was enough. It was an experience that I'm sure I won't forget, but I'm glad I got it on sale. It's a $14.99 regular price. I had a coupon for $10 off for the Epic Store, so I got it for $4.99. That felt about right. I'm glad I didn't pay full price. It didn't speak to me emotionally. I didn't really click with the game. I thought it was a little slow paced. I didn't like the fact that you cannot just freely jump around and glide around. It's fun when you do jump up in the air and glide, and it lets you travel a little bit faster, but I didn't like having to save my jumps for when I knew I could recharge that again. I was constantly being reluctant to explore certain areas because I just didn't want to waste my jump ability, and I wish you could just jump and move around more freely in the game. But as you progress, it becomes less of an issue because there are more fabric charging spots more frequently, and you start to progress a lot faster throughout the game. But it starts out super slow, feeling very confusing and very much of a drag. But like I say, as you go on, and especially if you team up with somebody else, which is totally random, but if you happen to be able to team up with somebody else, it becomes a shared experience and much more pleasant. Now, do I recommend this game? Judge for yourself. Like I say, I'm one of the very few who was not that impressed by this game. I would not feel like I was really missing out on much by not playing it, but I don't regret it either. It was an experience only because I got to share it with somebody else and in a way that was very unique. Otherwise, it feels like a glorified walking simulator with very light puzzle platformer mechanics, a little bit too slow for my liking, a little bit too esoteric. You can probably interpret the story however you want to. I don't know, it didn't do too much for me, but it was okay. I didn't love it, I didn't hate it. It was definitely a unique, a different kind of experience that I didn't know what I was really getting into, and it's a game like no other. So if you feel like you're in the mood for something like this, something kind of just chill, laid back, and different, go ahead and check it out, guys. Journey. Anyways, I hope you liked the video today. Leave me a comment down below if you have any thoughts or opinions about Journey or anything else you just want to say hi. I'd love to hear from you. Give the video a like if you liked it, dislike if you don't, but be warned, I know where you live. No, I don't really. And be sure to hit that subscribe button to see more videos like this, and check out some of these guys over here. And anyways, thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time.